So this is the Jones Chase A to Z of employment law, and this is letter A for Acas. Acas is the Advisory, Conciliation and Arbitration Service that's existed in the UK since 1896. It was set up as a conciliation service then, and it was regulated by the government, and it was also funded by the government. Now it's an independent regulated body, and it is independently funded. Let's look at the constituent parts of Acas. It offers an advisory service. That advisory service is a helpline where you can call and ask for employment advice at Acas level as an employer or as an employee, or you can go online and look at the various training materials, guidelines, etc. that Acas offers online in relation to all employment matters. It also sets out its codes of practice, and these are important documents for both employee and employer alike. If an employer fails to follow a code of practice and a claim is brought against it, compensation can be uplifted by as much as 25% for failure to follow an Acas code of practice. Equally, an employee bringing a claim, if they fail to follow a part of the Acas code of practice, then their compensation can be reduced by as much as 25%. An example of an employee failing to follow a code of practice would be not appealing a decision to dismiss and bringing a claim and arguing that dismissal was unfair. That would have a reduction in compensation. So that's the advisory service, and then the next constituent part of Acas is its conciliation service. That is early conciliation in relation to potential disputes and or collective conciliation in relation to, for example, pay negotiations. So if we look at early conciliation, that's between an employee. I'm thinking about bringing a claim against my employer. You must start early conciliation with Acas first before you can bring that claim. And early conciliation can lead to a resolution of that dispute, or it may be the employee doesn't want a resolution at that stage and wants to move straight to the dispute, having contacted Acas. Early conciliation can result in a COT 3 form being signed. If a dispute is not resolved at that early conciliation stage, and if an employee does bring a claim against their employer at the tribunal service, the matter can still be resolved through Acas, who sits in the background in any tribunal claim, and can be contacted to say, by either party, we would like to resolve this dispute. The information given to Acas is completely separate to any information that the tribunal has. The tribunal will send Acas a claimant's claim form and the employer's response form, but Acas will not send information to the tribunal. There are exceptions to that, and one of the exceptions was illustrated in a claim by Ms. Vernon. Ms. Vernon is a black British citizen who brought a race discrimination claim against her employer, London Borough, to say, I've been passed over for promotion 4 times, and that is race discrimination. She remained as an employee, she started early conciliation, and in response to one of the Acas emails, the employer's solicitor wrote back to Acas to say, Ms. Vernon's grammar and spelling in reports is not up to scratch. Acas said to the solicitor, can we forward this information on to Ms. Vernon? They said yes, and Ms. Vernon saw this information, and this is the first time that she was aware that this was a problem with her employer, or a problem that their employer perceived of her. And so she started a separate victimisation claim against the London Borough for that assertion that she was being victimised because of this information about her spelling and her grammar. And the key piece of evidence here is the email that went from the solicitor to Acas trying to resolve the original non-promotion race discrimination claim. And that key piece of evidence, even though it was between the solicitor and Acas, was shared with the tribunal, and a victimisation claim was brought against the London Borough by Ms. Vernon because the information the solicitor had relayed to Acas did not relate to the original claim about the 4 promotions that Miss Vernon had alleged against her employer. So beware, what you say to Acas must relate to the claim that the employee is pursuing against the employer. Anything outside of that could be shared with the tribunal and could lead to another claim. Collective consultation, as I said, or collective conciliation, as I said, relates to pay increases, terms and conditions, change in working practices. That's usually between Acas and trade unions, and or employee consultation bodies can go to Acas to bring them in to conciliate in relation to group matters within the workplace. The third constituent part of Acas is arbitration. They offer an arbitration service, independent third party, to hear a dispute between the 2 parties. Again, that's for free. That is not something that I have ever used, but it is a service that Acas offers. It will not offer that in matters that it's conciliating on. It will offer it as a separate service. And then the final element that they offer, which is not in their name, is mediation services. This is a paid for service, so this is not free, and you can ask Acas to be the independent mediator in matters that you want resolved. Acas at present need authority to mediate claims that are part of early conciliation or conciliation generally. They do not usually want to get involved at mediation level with those conciliated claims. So there are limited circumstances again when you can use them for mediation. My advice to you, if you're an employee, is get Acas on your side and make sure that they know everything about your claim. And if you're an employer, also get Acas on your side, because to resolve a dispute through Acas, either by directly contacting them as an employer or through us as a solicitor, can be a cost-effective way of dealing with that dispute. And that's Acas. Thank you.